Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose of the Safety Stand-Down is to raise awareness of hazards associated with the 101 critical days of summer and to reinforce our commitment to safety, both on and off duty. Memorial Day weekend marks the unofficial beginning of summertime as well as the start of the 101 critical days of summer. These critical days are a time of increased outdoor activity and an increase in hazards. With times changing and new social standards emerging during this difficult time of dealing with COVID-19, we still know the highest risks that summer has, even with social distancing in place. Historically, all military services have the highest number of injuries and fatalities during this period. The high number of mishaps created the need to focus on safety during the critical days of summer. Past statistics show that most of these mishaps occur because millions of Americans change their focus from everyday mundane tasks to summer vacations and other more exciting warm weather activities. Campaign efforts will attempt to raise awareness of these increased risks and encourage our Marines, civilian Marines, and their family members to apply proper risk management techniques in activities in which they participate both on and off the job. Take care of each other and carefully consider the risks involved with all of your summer activities, especially those involving alcohol. Remain focused on preserving our most precious asset, the individual Marine and civilian Marine. Remind each other of the importance to our mission, both in combat and while at home with your family. And remember, we take care of each other. One last thing I would like to take a moment and talk to you about is BPP. Employee involvement is a critical element within BPP and essential for our continued success as a BPP start site. Base employees and Marines are encouraged to engage directly with basic BPP efforts by serving on a BPP committee. By participating on a committee, you can truly make a difference aboard the base. You learn firsthand how the BPP process works, talk to existing members, and hear from them on the benefits of participation. Directors and supervisors, please encourage your employees to reach out and join a committee. I wish you all an enjoyable Memorial Day and a safe and happy summer. Take care.
Even with the majority of the state still on lockdown, the warmer weather beckons, and it's only a matter of time before we start venturing outside. While we anxiously await relaxed restrictions, let's take a moment to discuss how important it is to properly plan our recreational and off-duty activities. At work, we're constantly reminded about the importance of practicing safe habits. But off-duty, it's easy to get caught up in the moment and overlook safety for the sake of having fun. According to the Naval Safety Center, the service lost an average of 13 personnel each year between 2015 and 2018 due to recreational or off-duty incidents. These lost lives are just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. Under the surface are multiple less severe mishaps and near misses. On MCLB Barstow last year, 9 Marines reported injuries. Of these 9 reported injuries, only 2 were occupationally related. The other 7 were the result of sports-related injuries. So before we go out and engage in recreational or off-duty activities, we need to ask ourselves some important questions. What is the risk associated with this activity? There's a distinct difference between the probability of drowning while whitewater rafting versus swimming in the Oasis pool here on base. Therefore, it is important to identify and acknowledge risks before engaging in any activity. We can quickly assess our risk using the same risk assessment matrix that we use at work, and we can also apply the same 5 risk management steps. Another question we should be asking ourselves is, do I have the proper training or experience to safely engage in this activity? This question doesn't only apply to new activities. While I was stationed in Okinawa, I completed several pad-eye scuba diving certification courses and completed many open water dives. However, since leaving the island, I have only dove once. Although I may have been proficient at one point in time, many of the skills and knowledge that I had have since degraded, and it would be wise for me to take a refresher course before returning to the water. Next, do I have the proper equipment? Does it fit properly? And is it serviceable? Here we're talking about 2 classes of equipment. The first type is the items that we use to actually participate in the activity. This equipment can range from proper footwear, clothing, or to the more expensive items like a paddle board or a boat. The second type of equipment we have to consider is our personal protective equipment, such as helmets, personal flotation devices, etc. Whether we're talking about the first or second type here, wearing or using the wrong type of equipment or worn out equipment only increases our chances of death and injury. Finally, we've got to ask ourselves, does anybody know where I'm going, what my route is, and when I plan on returning? There have been far too many headlines this past winter which highlight the importance of establishing and communicating a good plan. If you get lost or injured, having someone notify the authorities in a timely manner may change the headline from "Lost hiker rescued in Oregon snowstorm, I wouldn't have lasted another night," to the all more common yet tragic "California hiker is found dead atop a glacier after missing for days." While we cannot eliminate all the risks associated with recreational off-duty activities, taking a few moments to really evaluate our plans before engaging them can significantly reduce the chances of injury or death.
When talking about water safety, we want to recognize the importance of the training and tips. Some key points for that is to always use the buddy system and be aware of any rules and guidelines. Some trainings and tips is to participate in swim lessons and safety courses. If you are not becoming that skilled of a swimmer, then be sure to always wear your Coast Guard approved life jackets. Never swim alone, always use a buddy system, because if you come into any emergency, you'll always have that person to go get a lifeguard or look for a first aid kit. Also, when you go into any facility that has a body of water, look for any signage that states any rules and guidelines and be sure to follow them. Boating safety. The weather is getting warmer, and so we want to take trips outside of Barstow, and we want to go on a boat and have some fun. Make sure you never mix alcohol with boating, whether you are a passenger or a driver. If you're going on a boat at any time, make sure to wear your Coast Guard approved life jacket because it can save your life. Also, a key point is to check your weather forecast before setting sail. Lastly, if you're going to any ocean, lakes, or rivers and going swimming, and if a lifeguard is present, listen to their rules. Also, be sure to keep an eye out for any tides and currents because some are very strong and can drift you away. Refrain from night swimming because there's very minimal lighting out there and it can be very dangerous if a lifeguard is not on duty anymore. Once again, always wear your Coast Guard approved flotation device if needed and know your limitations.
Hello, my name is Firefighter Sparky. Did you know campfires are the leading cause of children's camping injuries? They are also the primary cause of damaging wildfires. Here are some safety tips for your next campfire. First, start with digging a pit away from any hanging branches. Circle the pit with rocks or be sure there's a fire ring. Clear a 5-foot area around your fire pit. Keep additional firewood away from the fire and upwind. Do not let pets or children near the fire pit unsupervised. Teach children the stop, drop, and roll method in case an article of clothing catches fire. If possible, have a fire extinguisher available in case the fire gets out of control, and teach kids how to use it. Do not leave the fire pit unattended for even 1 minute. After completion, ensure the fire pit is completely wet and make sure it is 100% extinguished. If water is not available, use sand and dirt to mix with embers until everything is cool. Do not bury your coals as they may smolder and reignite. Follow these tips and have a wonderful summer. Once again, my name is Firefighter Sparky. Thank you for your time and please be safe.
Hello, my name is Sergeant Carroll. I'm a training sergeant for the Marine Corps Police Department at Marine Corps Logistics Base, Barstow. In this section, we will briefly discuss the weapons handling safety rules. As personnel aboard the base, you must understand all of the weapons handling safety rules in order to minimize the risk of a firearms mishap. Remember, always be safety conscious when you are handling firearms. Today, we will learn to identify the 5 safety rules of weapons handling, where you will learn to recognize the difference between safe and unsafe weapons handling. Accidents involving weapons can happen anywhere a firearm is used, causing serious injury and/or loss of life. Most of these incidents involve negligent firearms weapons handling practices. These accidents can be prevented by remembering one simple fact: all weapons are lethal. Therefore, you must make sure that every safety precaution is carefully followed. Here are the weapons handling safety rules. Number 1, treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Also remember, when handling a weapon, whenever a weapon has been out of your possession, check it and all of its magazines for ammunition. When you are handed a weapon, your first action is to clear the weapon, even if you have witnessed or observed its clearing. And finally, never move in front of the muzzle of a weapon being held by someone else. You must assume the weapon is loaded and could be discharged and subsequently cause injury or death. Number 2, never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. When handling a weapon, also remember this: always be aware of your muzzle direction and your surroundings, and never point your weapon at any part of your body, any inanimate object, or any person or animal you don't consider to be a possible threat. Number 3, keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. Number 4, keep your fingers straight and off the trigger, along the trigger guard, until your sights are up on target and you are ready to fire. Remember, your trigger finger is the single greatest safety feature common to all firearms and one that you control exclusively. By strictly observing this safety rule, you can eliminate most negligent discharges. And number 5, be aware of your target and consider its foreground and background. Changing the muzzle to target aspect can mean the difference between a clean engagement of the target and collateral damage through over-penetration or ricochet. We have now completed the weapons handling safety rules. Now you should be able to identify the 5 safety rules of weapons handling and be able to distinguish between safe and unsafe weapons handling. As you go about your duties, keep in mind weapons handling safety rules. And always remember, safety consciousness is essential when you handle weapons.
Summer means more fun for all, but it is also a high risk between May and September. It is especially high because of increase of travel. Some risk factors for fatal traffic mishaps include speeding, distracted driving, drinking and driving, drowsy driving, and not wearing seatbelts. Speeding reduces the time to avoid a crash and increases the likelihood and severity of a crash. Assess your current driving conditions and adjust your speed accordingly. The posted speed limit may be too fast. Check and recheck your speedometer. Slow down when others are tailgating you. Do not speed up. The National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration estimates that 25% of crashes involve some type of distracted driving. Drivers who use cell phones while driving are 4 times more likely to get into a collision. Texting and driving, you're 10 times more likely to get into a collision. Hands-free is not risk-free. If you need to use your phone, pull over to a safe location. Other distractions, such as adjusting your radio and the air conditioner, the mirrors, should be done before you start driving. Don't reach down or behind the driver's seat. Pick up items off the floor or open your glove box, or perform personal grooming while driving. Keep your eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, and mind on the drive. Alcohol accounts for more than 24,000 deaths each year. If you're going to drive, don't drink. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Choose a designated driver, someone who has not been drinking at all. Be a responsible host. If you have a guest who had been drinking too much, call him a cab or invite him to spend the night. Drowsy driving slows down your reaction time, decreases awareness, and impairs your judgment. It can be fatal when driving. Learn to recognize the symptoms of fatigue, eyes closing and going in and out of focus, persistent yawning, inability to remember the last few miles that you've driven, drifting in and out of lanes or onto the shoulder. When showing signs of fatigue, get off the road. Take a short nap in a well-lit, safe area. Do not stop on the side of the road. Share your driving between you and someone else. Stop every 100 miles or 2 hours and get out and walk around. avoid driving between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. Proper use of seat belts can reduce the risk of fatal injuries by 45%. Buckle up every time you drive, even for short distances. 3 out of 4 fatal crashes occur within 25 miles of the home. If you're driving with small children, make sure they are properly secured in a child safety seat. Before going on your trip, make sure your car is in good working condition. Check your belts, hoses, wipers, tires, wheels, and fluids. Prepare for the unexpected. Have a properly inflated spare tire, a cell phone, first aid kit, a flashlight, an auto service card, fire extinguisher, water, and a blanket. Familiarize yourself with your map, the road conditions, the weather conditions, and listen to traffic advisories. Notify relatives and trusted friends of your driving itinerary and let them know where you are along your route. Marines are required to complete a risk assessment in trips prior to going on leave or liberty. Trips link can be found on the Naval Safety Center website. Have a safe summer and drive safely.
Good afternoon, I'm Recreational Base Safety Office. The hot season is here, and the summer months will usually last from May to September. That means the average daily high temperature is 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Generally, the hottest day of the year is in July, with an average of 102 degrees and a low of 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Overheating, known medically as can cause heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. Heat exhaustion symptoms include muscle cramping, fatigue, headache, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, or fainting. A person with heat exhaustion may have cool, clammy skin to the touch, indicating the cooling system is working, but the patient's pulse rate is fast and weak, and breathing is rapid and slow. If untreated, heat exhaustion may progress into heat stroke. Heat stroke is a serious, life-threatening condition characterized by the following symptoms: a body temperature greater than 103 degrees Fahrenheit, red, hot, and dry skin, no sweating, rapid, strong pulse, throbbing headache, dizziness, nausea, confusion, and unconsciousness. Heat condition flags are posted at the front gates of both NEMO and URMO sides of Barstow MCLB. The color of the flags inform the employees and Marines and current heat temperatures as recorded by the Webb Bulb Globe Temperature Index. Heat flag colors are the following. Green flag is 80 degrees to 84.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Yellow flag, 85 degrees to 87.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Red flag, 88 degrees to 89.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Black flag, 90 degrees and above. Once we hit black flag, all non-essential physical activity will be halted for all personnel. Higher temperatures also means loss of body fluids. Losing too much fluid causes dehydration, which is why it's important to keep water on hand and drink frequently to keep yourself hydrated. A person experiencing dehydration may not even realize it. Dehydration can occur very quickly in hot, dry conditions, so it is important to know the signs of fluid loss. Dehydration symptoms in an adult include extreme thirst, less frequent urination, dark colored urine, fatigue, dizziness, and confusion. Lowering the core body temperature is critical to survival when a person becomes overheated. According to the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, more than 20 million workers are exposed to hazardous levels of noise at work. Employers are citing nearly $1.5 million in federal OSHA citations in 2017, and workers' compensation payouts cost another $242 million. Unlike other injuries, hearing loss is hard to see and diagnose with a naked eye. Its effects are easily masked and largely unrecognized until late in the worker's career, when he or she is sitting at home and a neighbor has to ask the person to turn down the television. In 2010, the Bureau of Statistics reported that 12% of all reported illnesses were related to occupational hearing loss, which equates to more than 18,000 workers who experience significant hearing loss related to work. Noise damage can occur on the job as well as off the job. Loud music, shooting, power tools, crowd noises. Good hearing conservation should be practiced no matter what the setting. Here's a good rule of thumb to use in determining whether the background noise is higher than 85 decibels. If you must shout to be understood by somebody about 1 arm length away from you, that background noise is hazardous. Selecting hearing protection. Earplugs. Some advantages of earplugs are comfortable for the use. Disposable earplugs are available. Cooler and in hot, humid environments. Single-use foam earplugs can provide the highest level of attenuation. Disadvantages: attenuation highly dependent upon a good fit and hygiene issues with dirty environments. Ear muffs. Advantages: easy to get on, proper fit, good for intermittent noise. Radio electronic options are available. Disadvantages: can feel hot, heavy with extended wear. Compatibility with other PPE issues. Hearing loss due to noise exposure is painless, permanent, progressive, and very preventable.
Have you ever wanted to be part of something great? Well, here is your chance, and we want to recruit you to join our Voluntary Protection Program committee. I became involved at the beginning of our VPP journey as we formed committees to work through our weak areas. In 2008, MCLB became the first Marine Corps installation to become a VPP star site. This is a big deal, so we have bragging rights. MCLB set the example for Marine Corps installations here and abroad and continue to strive for excellence. Our committee is critical in keeping continuous improvement at our installation. The committee is comprised of personnel from various departments who are empowered to take ownership of their safety, channel their thoughts and ideas in order to maintain star status. There are so many opportunities to engage in fun VPP activities, yet educate personnel at the same time. Notable activities include promoting VPP with promotional items and information during the Fire Prevention Week, base fun runs, attend region and national safety summits, lunch and learn workshops, employee recognition day, and of course, our annual VPP holiday mixer with food, fun, and games to kick off the holidays. Our committee members take pride in presenting new ideas and concepts to keep our site safe. An example is to disseminate awareness posters throughout the base, such as stay hydrated, rail safety, proper lifting, and hand washing techniques, amongst others. In addition, committee members place focus on preventive measures like using ergonomic equipment, a glove board that will depict the right glove for the specific task, a stay safe video using our very own Marines and base personnel. All this and more to keep our Marines and civilian Marines safe while focusing on our mission. Get involved, and your ideas or suggestions may be recognized and become a reality. That is something to take pride in. Who says meetings are not fun? Join our VPP committee and share your ideas while having fun, yet contributing to safety. Remember, safety first.